Hey, welcome, welcome to the online book club. I don't even have my book with me, and the reason I'm laughing is because I'm sitting in a blanket, and I hold on, I need to grab the book. It's right over there, but I need to be careful in getting up because well, just hold on a second here, folks. Hopefully, okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm sitting here in a blanket, but I'm not wearing like I basically just am wrapped in a blanket. I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get up and get the book? So sorry about that, everybody. I have the book. I have the book. What if? I think I'm getting this down. What if a transformational guide? There we go. There we go. And this week's question, I love it. I love it. This week's question is this right here. So I'm going to just leave it there for a second for everybody. And then, what if the guilt and pain you leave the world with, you bring back to heal? Which, so when I wrote this book, it was channeled, and I had a feeling about that when I put it in there. I felt one way about it. And obviously, this book was written a bit ago. And now I have a completely other, like, way. So, hey, Martha, how are you? I love that you made the book club. Yay. Thanks for being here. Um, the whole, so what if all the guilt and pain we feel now is because of like we brought it in from last life. And if we don't fix it this time, if we don't heal it this time, if we don't learn guilt and pain are illusions or they're a way to sabotage ourselves, we have another go around at it. What do you guys think about that? And I know so many of you. Hey, Sally. Hi, how are you? Um, what, um, what if and what if we realized we have guilt, but it should be for this but not for that. What if we realize the real purpose of guilt? And there's so much in my head about this, like every time I go to say something, so much more comes in. So many, I'm gonna say religions teach guilt, and I think guilt can be a form of control for many people. They make you feel guilty. If someone can make you feel guilty, they can make you do their bidding. They can make you do what they want. They can keep you in line. I think guilt, the only time we should have guilt is if we've done something, but then it should go because we had that emotion and it should be gone. Now, and I want you guys to participate. Tell me how you feel. And again, the same with pain. If all pain should subside, physical, emotional, mental. So, and I'm even going to throw shame in here, the emotions. When we have those emotions, they should be fleeting. It should be something that comes in, but then it serves its purpose and it goes. And it should only be for certain things, and it shouldn't be lingering. So, if just for example, like with guilt, if I do something and I know that I have hurt someone, I'm going to feel badly about it. But I'm also going to eventually move on from that, which is the way it should be. I shouldn't, unless it was something really bad, but I shouldn't have to hold on to that guilt for my whole entire life. And every time I think about it, that guilt comes back. um, because the things we can't change, we have to be in a space where we can let that go. So I want to hear what you guys feel about that. If you can put it in the chat, if you want to call in on Podbean, or if you're on Podbean and you want to put it in the chat, that would be great. I'm going to read some of the things. Martha finally made it. We're so happy you're here, Martha. Sally, welcome. I have to keep watching the screen so that it doesn't go. Uh, Sally says, it makes my heart a little heavy, honestly, again, when a baby, it will come again. It makes me want to take care of myself now. Sally, I'm not sure I understand that. Um, I'm honestly not sure I understand that. So just for everybody here, today is book club day. Monday and Wednesday is Q&A. I'm guessing, Sally, I'm gonna guess you lost a baby. Is that accurate? Did you lose a baby, love? And in a case like that, if you lose a baby and you have pain with that, it's very understandable, right? Hey, Kathy. It's extremely understandable. But eventually, in our mind, we have to come to a place where it is the pain transforms into something else so that we can be. Hey, Rebecca. Rebecca's joining us live on Podbean. Hey, Rebecca, how are you? Hey, Catherine. Hey,
Hello.
Kathy.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. I do want to answer this one here.
Good.
What is the guilt and pain you leave the world with, you bring back to heal?
Yes.
I will forgive myself first.
Yes.
I don't want to carry that guilt. I don't, because it's what you make the life about moving forward. I prefer to forgive myself so I can be happy within inside.
Yes.
I hope that makes sense.
It does. And that's so true, Rebecca. Thank you. I believe once we forgive ourselves, we can forgive everybody else. I'm going to start some clearings right now. And the first clearing I'm going to do is we have forgiven ourselves. We're going to clear that to a yes. All the things we think, and I'm going to be so clear about this, we think we need to be forgiven for, and all that caused that has been healed and cleared. Let's clear that to a yes. Let's heal that to a yes. And then any guilt, shame, pain, suffering, and this is big, and grief. Grief. Let's pull, heal, clear, release that. And you guys, you can come back and listen to this at any point and any time. We're going to heal, clear, release, pull it, release it. And then the programs, the beliefs, anything this has caused in us, let's heal, clear, release that. Things are supposed to be experiences, if you want to call them experiences, lessons, if you want to call them lessons. They're supposed to be moments to evolve. And that's what it is to me. Everything that happens, even though sometimes I have like a very difficult time with certain things that happen, understanding it's the opportunity for my soul to evolve or to go to a higher understanding, and because it is something that really hurt or it was a big betrayal. um, I try to let go of it and forgive, but sometimes it's so difficult because we always blame ourselves. I don't know that I don't know a lot of men that sit around and blame themselves for what went wrong. According to most men, we're just all crazy. But I hope you guys are laughing at that. But no, seriously, in all seriousness, some men do. They feel like they could have done better if they did something exact. But women will really be so hard on themselves for every mistake that they made and everything that they've done. And when we
That is
continue,
so true.
yeah, go ahead, Rebecca.
No, I'm just saying that is true. It's so different how a woman will carry that guilt for so long. Based on my experience, I have nothing but brothers, and they are more like relaxed. I don't know if it's carry someone in the back of their mind or they just don't think about it. So they're like, it's over with, moving forward. And
And
a woman is always thinking, dragging it there with you.
yeah, I do wonder sometimes, is that the hormones? Like, is that because men are filled with testosterone and they don't have like as much estrogen and progesterone? I don't know why. Or is it the way we were brought up? Is it because their prefrontal cortex doesn't develop as early as ours does? I don't know. I have no idea. But what I do know is I don't see men sitting around obsessing and thinking the way women do. And they've even done studies where men they'll put men and they'll say, okay, for this period of time, just no nothing, just sit and think. And they'll do it with women. And then after, like, let's say whatever the period of time was, they'll say to the men, what were you thinking about? And they're like, sports or something like very unemotional. And so for women, they'll ask them and they'll like, they're thinking about everything that's happened and everything that's happening. They had like a million different thoughts. And guys are like mowing my lawn, sports, the last Dallas whatever game. Like seriously, that's a man's mind. And it's not wrong. It's not wrong. It's just for women, it can be so different in and how we process that and how we're able to let go of it. So you guys also in the chat, anything you want me to heal with shame, guilt, fear, grief, suffering, anything, put it in the chat because and we know how to I'm going to do this clearing or this healing. We know how to process guilt, shame, fear, suffering, and grief. And I get a no, so we're going to heal, clear, release that to a yes. So that in the future, if something comes in, we know how to process it. Yes, we have emotions. And yes, it's beautiful to have those emotions, right? It really is beautiful to have those emotions. But we're not supposed to, unless it's happiness, we're really not supposed to sit in it. And some people think love is an emotion, but it's a way of being. So we're always supposed to be love, in love with ourselves, in love with our life. And the more we sit in an emotion that is not of love, the more it changes our love dynamic. And we never ever want that. We want to be flourishing always. And love is the essence that flourishes us. And Martha said on here, um, excuse me, it's going to take me a moment to read. I actually, I have, like an infection in my eye and I'm not supposed to even be wearing my contacts and I'm waiting for new glasses to come in. So I'm only wearing it for shows right now and if I have to go out. But so it's taking me a moment to focus in. Um, if we come in this life and have a very hard life, is it karma? That's such a good question. Oh, I can't wait. Wait, I want to read part two. I didn't visualize I didn't visualize this difficult life via the vision board concept. Goodness isn't rewarded and bully evil behavior isn't punished. Martha, oh my lord, everybody that agrees with what she said or has felt this at some point, give her hearts, give her some sort of confirmation. So I'm gonna go into something here that that this is gonna be very crazy, but we come into this life, and excuse me, I just need to grab a little tissue. It's actually a paper towel. I'm sorry for my nose. We do come into this life, and for some of us, since birth, it's been very much a challenge. It's not been there. There wasn't even a silver dime, let alone a silver spoon in our existence. For some of us, we came in and it has been such a challenge for us in this life. And one of the things they'll say is, well, okay, but compare yourself to someone who is, has it worse. I don't want to say somebody else has it worse because they live in a different part of the world. Maybe they just have happiness and love in that part of the world, even if they don't have this or that, right? What I can say is if you come in and you've had a very challenging life, that's not karma. I don't believe that's karma. Some people believe there's a balancing. Some people say you come into this life to balance out things from a different life. Maybe, if you believe that. But how many of us that would mean almost everybody on this planet, we were just horrible in past lives. Given the fact that the population keeps increasing, how's that even possible? Oh, I don't even know, but no, no, I do, but I don't. And here's what I'm gonna also say. I think some of us come into this life because we see the dynamics and we think we can fix or help the people that of the family we're coming into. And because when we get to the other side, we can't really tell people everything. Well, we could, but people aren't listening because they've taught us not to do that. Um, but this is a very challenging life to be in. It is an extremely challenging life to be in. And partially because of the family dynamics that we come into. And it's easy, we look for a reason why we might suffer, a reason why we might have gone through what we went through as children or young adults. And we want to have an understanding, a reason, a justification. And karma is a good way to say, well, okay, maybe this is happening to me now because this happened in a past life. And I've done that. I've said, you know what, maybe these people did this to me because in a past life I did something to them. And that helps me to not be upset about it and to just walk away from the situation. And that's a very good thing if you can do that. But I don't want it to be like we're here being punished. I don't ever want anyone to think, "Oh, we're here and we're in this situation and we're just living." Like I've heard so many people say this is a slave planet, we're going through this slave existence. What kind of if everything is if we create what we believe and we believe that, then that is the existence we are creating. Um, and that is a very difficult existence to be in. If you believe that earth is hell, and I've heard people say that this is the hell, then you believe that you were sent here simply to be punished, and this is your doom. This is your sentence. I choose to think, and for everybody it's different. Nobody has it perfect here. And I've seen people with so much money. They went to college prep schools for from kindergarten through 12. They went to college prep schools. They lived in the nicest homes. Their parents stayed together the whole time they were growing up, and finances were not a factor. And they still had so many challenges of their own. Just money wasn't one of them. Money just wasn't, and education wasn't one of them. They had other challenges, other family dynamics, expectations put upon them that maybe they did not want. They had heartbreak and they broke hearts. So, another way for us to look at it is to say, we're having experiences. Some of the experiences we are going to like, and some of them we do not. And in this book, in the book we're doing today, right here, one of the statements says, and I always remember this one. Um, what if it's like being at, I think like like a carnival or an amusement park, and you get to ride a ride. And if you like the ride, you can ride it and ride it and ride it. But if you don't, you just never go on it again. But we're taught like, if you get on a ride and you don't like it, just keep riding it like a job. If you get to a job and you don't like it, you just stay there because it's a job and they're giving you benefits and you should be grateful for that job that you hate, right? We don't think, that's it. I'm finding another job and it will be better. The biggest thing I hear when people talk about finding another job is, well, what if it's worse? And the same thing with a partner. What if they're worse? Will I find somebody better? Is there somebody better? Sometimes I have to be honest. I kind of, at this point in the game, I kind of wanted it, but there are so many good people out there, men and women. Look at us. We're amazing people. We're amazing. We're on an evolutionary journey. We want our spirit to grow. So if we're out here, we know there are the counterparts out here also looking for really amazing people, right? So I want to make sure I where is the rest of that? I didn't, yeah, nobody visualized this on their vision board. Nobody. And yeah, you know what I am gonna say, Martha? Sometimes it does seem like people who are bullies and not so nice don't get punished. But what if the punishment is that they have to live with themselves? We can go to bed at night knowing we can, most of us can sleep at night, right? Most of us can sleep at night. But I don't go to bed and think, I really did my ex dirty. I really I ran him through the mud. I don't have to think that because I know when someone's in my life, I am so good to them because if it goes wrong, I want to know I did everything I could to make it work. I was the best possible person I could be. So if something goes wrong, we just weren't meant to be together, or that's not on me because I did it. I did all the things. I tried to do it right. I was honest, I was open, I didn't drag you through the mud, I didn't cheat on you. Hmm. I wanna make a joke right now. I so wanna make a joke. Even though he's the only person I slept with in the relationship, my body count probably went up like 100. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean? But I didn't do any of that. So I can walk away feeling content about it. And the same thing with my female friends. I will give you every benefit of the doubt and I'll take it to a certain point and I'll even like give you another chance. But if you don't change, then I'm cutting it off. But I can sleep at night because I know I didn't do you dirty. I know I didn't drag you through the mud. And that's the reward for us. Even though it doesn't feel like a reward, we get to know we're clean. We didn't do that. Now, I am gonna say this, there have been people in the past that maybe I could have been a little nicer to, that maybe they weren't friends, but I am gonna say, you know, it is what it is, and I just have to know, we move on and we do our best from it. And even though it seems like bullies don't get punished, I'm gonna say the punishment is they have to live with themselves. In their mind, what they walk away with, that's probably a lot more than you could even comprehend. Because eventually, people who live, I believe the way we behave is the energy we live in. And the energy of somebody who's a bully is always trying to get over on people before they get over on them, always being the toughest person or the whatever person. And that can lead people into depression, right? Those people who are bullies or treat people very badly are very empty inside. I have this theory that people who cheat, they cheat because something's missing in them, not in us. Although all this is a trigger warning here, and please laugh at this because it's partially a joke. Although all peniles are not the same, vaginas pretty much are. Vaginas pretty much are. Now, when it comes to the male organ, lots of difference in them. Thick, thin, long, short, thick and short, thick and long, thin and short. Sorry. What do they call those ones? The micro, or the maxi. Men's members can be kind of like our tampon selections for light days, for heavy days. And I am kind of joking here. So when a man cheats, it's not about us. Or a woman, there's something missing in them. There's something very empty. People who do drugs or cheat or are mean to others or try to get over on others, there's something in them. There's an emptiness they're trying to fill. There is seriously, there's something that is missing. And I'm not talking like somebody did something once and regrets it. I'm saying somebody who is like continually doing it. Somebody who is always in that place of who's the next, who's better, who's going to give me what I really need. Those people have something, and that's the statement right there. Who's going to give me what I need? I'm going to bully this person and I'm going to get that ego hit. I'm going to do this and I'm going to get that ego hit. And that's what it is. I'm gonna be with this person and they're gonna make me feel better about myself, or I'm gonna be with that, or I'm gonna do this. And it's never gonna work. It's never going to work because until you feel complete within yourself, you will never feel complete with what somebody else is bringing to the table. And I learned this when I was very, very, very young. Anything someone gives you, they can take away. So if it's love, if it's money, if it's a feeling, if it's material things, anything they bring into your life, they can take it away while they're with you or once they're gone. If they when they leave, they can take it. So I've never depended on anyone to fill anything in me. And I've always worked to cultivate, like, I look at what's inside of me as a garden. This is my garden, okay? This is it's GMO free. And what I mean by that is I don't depend on outside sources to grow what I can naturally grow. Love, kindness, whatever it is. And I'm not saying I don't walk around this world being flowers and sunshine. I have bumblebees that sting if you come too close. I have bumblebees that will sting you if you try to do something to my garden, okay? That's just protection. I'm joking. But I'm going to say this. If we fill ourselves and we know who we are, all of these emotions will eventually dissipate, the negative ones, because we know who we are. People can hurt us with what they do, and it's happened to me. It has. I'm speaking from the ground I stand on. When we don't know who we are, and we take responsibility for their bad behaviors and actions. If we know who we are, and they make poop moves, that's not manure. We don't take that on and we don't take their poop and try to convert it into manure to help us grow. We treat it like doggy poo poo, and we put it in a bag and we put it in the trash, and we let the garbage people take that, and we say that's not going to help me grow, and that has nothing to do with me. That you're, if somebody's being rude, mean, lying, cheating, that has nothing to do with who I am. That's your identity that you're bringing into my world. And that is the best way I can say that. So I'm going to ask you, Martha, what do give me something that you feel could heal? You want clarity. Fawn says clearing for clarity. That is a really good one. So, Fawn, when you say a clearing for clarity in general, or let's just do a clearing. We have clarity. We're going to clear this to a yes, heal, release, all of that. Today is the book club, Darlene. Everybody, today is the book club. Every Tuesday at noon, we do so stay, don't go anyplace because there's so many healings, especially with today's book club. And the question of the day is, what if the guilt and pain you leave the world with, you bring back to heal? You bring back to heal. Yes. What if, and so if we have guilt and pain now, does that mean we get to come back and heal it? And we get to heal it with the people who caused it? Let me tell you, if I have to do another go round on this rock, I don't want the same people back. I want to heal everything I've done to anybody and they've done to me. So if I come back in, let's have some new people. Let's have some new experiences. Let's start from a healed ground. I mean, just in case. Just in case. And I'm going to tell you something, if religion and politicians wanted us to be falling in line, they would be teaching this. Like, there's a chance you could come back, and all the dirt you do, or all the whatever, you're going to have to balance out. From the jump, we would be better people because we never, I don't care what, even people who are let's just say schizophrenic, bipolar, narcissist, they never want anyone to do to them what they are doing to people. Never, ever. They don't want to experience that, not in this life, not in any life. And I will tell you, if I knew when I was very young in reincarnation, I would not I would have worked so much harder in my younger years to have healthier relationships. But I don't believe, now, one thing I'm going to say, I do think there are some of us that come in because we do want to help the people, the family that we're coming into, but it's a little bit more than we can do, if that makes sense. We don't help as a child, we can help as an adult by becoming healers and loving differently or whatever it is, but never look at it as a punishment. It's either a balancing or an evolutionary process. So, what's the goal? If we have to keep coming back until we are all knowing, right? Like spirit guides, the goal is to eventually not reincarnate, to get to that place where we have such understanding and balance and love that we do not come back, that we can be a guide for someone, but guides have no judgment. Guides have no, they can just guide without, how do I say this? They can guide you in a way that allows you to do what you do, but never have judgment about it, but try to steer you in the right way and not get upset about it. But they've experienced everything. So they understand everything. So maybe that's another way we can look at it. So we don't look at it like we're the victims of what has happened. Even though, don't get me wrong, some of us have been victimized. And I'm not minimizing that, but a way to, if I'm looking at it in a certain way, I'm saying, okay, eventually I want to be like an angelic being that can help people from the other side, then I have to go through all these things, because if my person is down here going through it, I need to know how to help that. There were people, and this is one way that I can maybe help you understand what I'm saying. There were people that would come into my office and they would explain their situation. And some of them, I could get it immediately. And whether this was for hypnosis or reading, um, and I would 100% get it and be able to tap into it right away. And then there would people, and I'm going to give the specific situation, and I'm not pointing out anybody in particular, just I had several clients that had relationships that they could not let go of. They couldn't block the person. It was on again, off again. And I was like, I just don't get that. And then I went through it. And although I wish I didn't have to go through that situation, it helped me to completely understand every perspective of that type of situation. And now when clients come in and they say, this is my situation, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about. I wish I could have understood it without going through it 100%. But now let's take this to a bigger level. If we want to help people, if we want to be that person, whether on this earthly plane or a higher plane that can help people and heal people without judgment and without anything, maybe to get the understanding of it, we have to experience all sides of it. I hope that helps. I really hope that helps. Okay. Rebecca said clearing for being stuck, procrastination, and laziness. Oh, are you talking about me, Rebecca? Are you calling me out? Okay. We are stuck We are moving forward. Let's strengthen that. We are procrastinating. I get a huge yes on procrastination. Oh my gosh. Any and all procrastination. It's fear, Rebecca. It's fear. Because I was like, what's causing us to procrastinate? And I just heard so loud fear. So let's heal, clear, release the fear that's keeping us immobilized or in place. Because, and that's so true. Think about this. We are afraid that the next thing won't be better, will be bad, will not work out. But what if it does? What if it does? What if, what, what if it does? What if it does? What if it does? Oh, it cracked me up. But what if it does work out? What if it's better than you thought it could be? What if it's amazing? And Rebecca, one of the things I'm hearing for you is you could take pre-orders. You could take pre-orders, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay. All righty, that's what I'm saying. Because I really need to try it, Molly. From somebody I trust. And then they can, as soon as I say tamale, they show me the soup. Oh my goodness. Okay, we did clearing for that. Um, hey, Crystal. And you guys, tomorrow at 7, I'll be back. And I'm gonna just take one little quick moment to say this. Hey, Lou Waden. Hey, Lou Waden. Hey, 4Q. I'm just going to go through here really quick. If I missed your name on Podbean, I'm really sorry. Please don't. Hey, Mr. In joined. Hey, Mr. In. Hey, Mr. In. Um, today is book club. Tomorrow at 7 p.m., I will be answering questions and connecting people to loved ones on the other side. That starts at 7 p.m. Central Time. I will be on Podbean and YouTube. And a lot of people have been reaching out and saying, they come on and they don't get their question answered. And I'm on for an hour each time. I'm on for an hour each time. Um, so what I've started is, if you want to make sure, if your question is really important, you want to make sure it gets answered, you can, in the links, there's buy me a coffee in the description, in the bio, whatever you want to call it. And you can click on that, make the donation, put your question in the part with notes. I can answer it immediately privately, depending on the donation amount, or with a video, again, depending on the donation amount, or I can answer it on the next show. And you will be the first people to get your answers to your questions. And I do go in the order of the amount donated. But they're going to be the first people. And if I do have that, I'll answer it. If I don't, then we just go straight into the questions. But if your question is, you really want that question answered, that's the best way to do it if it's really important. Okay, Fawn, yes, we want to help people believe that too. Thank you, but I want to understanding from all. Martha, understanding from all of what? Martha says, yes, if I told mom, she got angry. You shouldn't think of people that don't have blank, always someone worse, so was made to feel guilty for being, and that is it, right? I think parents, especially parents who had children, parents never learned, especially back in the day, they were working with what they had. And if we knew the way our grandparents raised them, in most cases, not all of them, I'm not excusing it, we would completely understand. My grandparents were both passed when I was very young, but I heard stories from uncles, from aunts, and from my mom. My grandfather he was a long, what do they call that? Over the road truck driver. And my grandmother, by the time she had her 13th, 12th child, who was my mother, was done. And then she had my uncle, who was her, I think, 13th. Yeah, 13. And she was just on the couch sleeping all the time, according to my mom, but also not very loving by that point, according to my mom. Um, and that affected the way we were raised by our parents. And there weren't all the tools that they have now, all the psychology books, all the YouTube how to and what to expect when you're expecting even. None of that was around when even like in the 80s, 90% of this stuff was not around. Today is a completely different world and there's so much available to help on how to raise children effectively into being healthy, responsible children. It, sometimes when I look at these kids out here, I don't know if parents are using it, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying, when I'm watching kids in grocery stores or in other stores run it, I'm just saying, I think a slipper needs to fly. I don't know. I could be wrong. I hope you guys are laughing. Um, But I think one of the ways parents could keep control of their children was guilt, was definitely guilt. If they could make the girls feel guilty, the girls would fall in line or have them shamed about something. Guilt or shame worked beautifully for the girls. Now, for the boys, it was all about ego and pride, very much ego and pride. Today's world's a little bit different, and I'm not minimizing what we went through because we are all, I say this to everybody all the time, we are all surviving our past. Even people who look like they have the world by the butt, they're surviving their past. They might hide it better or they may have healed from it. Some people are just straight up in denial, but we are all surviving our past until we understand it or heal from it. And both of those could mean the same thing. And and the idea is we don't own what other people say or do. Okay? We don't if a stranger, this is such an odd analogy. If a stranger comes up and says something to us, we're going to assume says something out of character like, "Oh, you're a blah blah blah. You're a blah blah blah." We're gonna be like, "Are you crazy? Did you miss your meds today?" And we're gonna walk away and we're gonna laugh about it. We're gonna tell somebody and say, "This stranger came up and said this," but we're not gonna own it. But if somebody we know says it, it's gonna affect us. The exact same statement, it's gonna affect us. But if somebody we love makes that exact same statement, it's really, we're gonna own it. And why is that? Just because something comes out of somebody's mouth or somebody does something, it number 1 doesn't make it true and it doesn't make it right. So we can't have guilt about the way we feel about what they say. We can't have guilt about what they do and how we feel or react to what somebody does because that's a protection mechanism. We don't want to stay in that mechanism, but when we're protecting ourselves, we might lash out, we might react. So we can't have guilt about that. We can't have guilt about an action we took that we know maybe wasn't the best action. We have to forgive ourselves, which we did the clearing and the healing for forgiveness. And I think on here, Martha says, I don't think it bothers me, the bully. Um, Martha, I'm gonna I'm gonna do a clearing for from being bullied and harassed. Let's heal, clear, release that. Whew. And let that go. And all any and all damage it's done to us, let's pull that too. And I'm gonna tell you guys, I I was in school when bullying was not considered bullying. It was considered kids will be kids. Who else was? Hands up. Hands up on that one. Um, and I was tortured as a kid. I cannot tell you how many times I got beat up at school. I cannot tell you how many times I got beat up at school. And you wanna know what? Not one time I don't know why this is gonna make me cry. I never went home and told anybody. I didn't walk home and go, "So and so beat me up," or "So and so, like" never. "I'm gonna drink something here just to get it together." And I was little. I mean, I was probably like when I was 18, I was still wearing a 14 slim pants. I was little. I was not a threat to anybody. I was shy. I wore these big old glasses. My mom was doing me the biggest solid. She thought when she got me those glasses that like outside they turned into sunglasses and inside they were supposed to so when you go inside they don't transition very quickly, so I was called bug eyes. I was called, oh my god, the torture as a kid. But I cannot tell you the number of times I was physically beat up at school and never went home and was like, I got beat up by these kids, because I was embarrassed because I thought I did something wrong, right? um well, they beat me up for a reason. I don't know why. They never said why. They weren't like, "We're gonna kick your butt, and this is why." They just beat me up. And I I can tell you bullying, it does have a lasting effect on you. It does have, whether it's verbal, physical, emotional, it has such a lasting effect on you. Um, and it's crazy. We would think we could just outgrow it and let it go, but it's just not that simple. So heal, clear, release all the effects, all the damage, all the beliefs, all the programs, pull it all out of us. Okay. Rebecca says, yes, I tell my children who have children, there's no book, no guidance, just what we learned from our parents. Now, if you ask me, we can communicate on how to opinions. Absolutely, Rebecca. Absolutely. And the old way, I try to give my mother grace. I really try to give my mother grace because I know so many of the things she went through. And even though it didn't come out the way I wanted it to be, when I look back at my childhood, I feel like maybe it wasn't supposed to be the way I wanted it to be. Maybe it was supposed to be different. And it's okay. It's okay. Um, okay. Fawn says, Martha, my dad did that too. Yeah. Made me stop crying and never let me be emotional. I think, yeah, when kids cry, sometimes we just don't know how to handle it. Like we're like, how can I make it stop? And men don't think, how can I soothe? They're like, I just need it to stop, right? Um, I'm so sorry that you guys went through this, and it is difficult when we did go through this, right? But we want the idea now that we're here and we're at this point. Two major things: do not allow people in our life who do this to us or make us feel this way. And if we cannot release them from our life, understand that this is their story. It doesn't belong in our book. We're not owning what they say or do, right? That's number one. And number two, heal from it. Just heal. On TikTok, I have so many healings on everything. I'm actually every day I'm like, what am I going to do for my next healing? And I'm like have to make lists of it. So heal and protect, and not protect in a way of, oh my god, this person might hurt me. It's protect, like I know who I am, so whatever they say and do will not affect me, because what they're saying and doing is not true about me. As children, we don't know what's true about us yet, And most of our parents didn't bring us up the way children are being brought up today, to love and protect themselves and to know who they are. You're amazing, you're good, you're smart. Most of our we might not have been brought up that way. And as children, most parents bring up, you can do better. That's it. Blah, blah, blah. And we could all tell the stories, right? And it would take a year to get all the stories out at least. But we're at this point now. And at this point, it's time for us to take control and say, I'm not letting anyone in that will do any damage to my soul, and I'm going to heal from all the damage that has been done. We are the only ones that can protect ourselves. We are the only ones that can say, You're not good. I'm not going to entertain this." And I want to give you an example. If you had an itty bitty puppy and somebody that came into your life was not good to your puppy, ignored your puppy, pushed it away, didn't pet it, didn't love it, maybe criticized your little beautiful itty bitty little cute snuggle butt puppy, would you let that person watch your puppy, take care of your puppy, hold your puppy, be around your puppy? Well, you are your puppy. Now, if you don't like dogs, I'm going to say, if you had an infant and somebody criticized your infant, you would instantly pull your infant in, instantly pull it in, instantly protect it, instantly have so many negative feelings towards that person, instantly want that person gone. You are your infant. You have to treat yourself as though you are an infant until you're strong enough to not have to do that. So while you're building yourself and while you're building your energy and learning to protect yourself, and that it's okay to protect yourself, you treat yourself like an infant. Like, would I allow this for an infant? If the answer is no, you do not allow it for yourself. And by the time you get to that point and you're healed, you won't even have to do it anymore, because that type of energy will no longer be around you. But until you get to that point, treat yourself like an infant. And I'm going to say this, we all go through relationships that might not be the best relationship. We all go through family members that maybe weren't as loving as we would had liked them to be. And that can be our parents. They were not understanding, they were not loving, they were either they were abusive, maybe emotionally, psychologically, physically. And if not a parent, maybe a sibling or an uncle or a grandfather, a grandmother. We all go through jobs that can be abusive also on some level. They didn't respect us, they didn't appreciate us, they didn't treat us the way we deserve to be treated. But here's the thing that I'm going to say, everybody is presented with this. And here's the question I ask: how long did you stay and why? And if your answer is, I didn't know there would be better, that means you didn't know there would be better for you. Because somebody who knows who they are will say, there's better out there. And I'm gonna just say this. I was dating someone and they started acting a certain way. And I literally said to them, I don't deserve this. And I knew that with every ounce of my being. I said, I don't deserve this. I deserve better treatment than this. And I said this directly to this person, who took that as a challenge, by the way. Bet, hold my beer. Let me show you what I can do next. I can make you believe you do deserve this. And if you stay with somebody, whether it's a boss, a coworker, a friend, a family member, a relationship long enough, they will make you believe you do deserve that. They will chip away at you long enough that you will be in that place. And we have all, tell me with hearts, tell me with whatever, have you been through this? Because with family, friend, work, I don't care what it is, because we have, most of us have. We've been in that situation where someone took it as their personal goal in life to take the light right out of us. And Martha, let me tell you this now. We all have a light. Martha, Fawn, Noel, um, Crystal, if you're still here, Catherine, Sally, Rebecca, and there's one more person here. I think that might be it. I have to go further down. If I missed your name, let me tell you this: we are all Ishika. We are all born and with this amazing light, big, beautiful light. When you hold babies, you can literally smell heaven still on them. You can just feel it. You want to, oh, you, that's why people say, I want to eat you up, because they want that inside of them, that innocence, that light, that love again, right? That pureness. And we have that still inside of us. But whether we look at it like there's something trying to take my light, dim my light, stop me from shining so bright, and I will explain it this way. People who have had their lights dimmed are sometimes, I don't want to use the word jealous, but when they see somebody else's light shining so brightly and a person who is happy, just in general, happy, or has the potential to be happy, you know how they say misery loves company? I'm not going to say these people are miserable, but they know if you really embrace your light and you let your light shine. And why am I hearing this song? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Okay, that one. Um, that you will leave them behind because they're not letting their light shine, or maybe they've forgotten, or they don't even know. But that is not your responsibility. That's not your responsibility. Okay, it's not your responsibility. Your only responsibility is you and your light. And if there are young uns in your life, their light. Hey, Heather, how are you? So the idea is at this point to allow yourself to understand what other people say and do should not invoke emotions in you that are not the ones you want. And if they do, they should be fleeting, and to heal anything that has been done or said in any way. And, you know, when I look back at some of the things in my own situations, like with ex-partners and ex-friends, I look at it and I there was a point where I was really upset at the level of betrayal. Like what what some of my friends would do to get a little attention from someone. They would betray me, they'd throw me under the bus so quickly, for a little attention or the chance at what I who I was with or whatever. And I felt very betrayed by that because I thought, you're supposed to be my friend. But what I had to realize is two things. When they would see me, they thought if they could have what I had, that would make them feel better than me. They would think, "Oh, see, I got what she has, so now I'm better than her." Which, sweetie, there's no competition between any people. You put yourself lower than me, not me. And mm, Maybe you two are a better fit if you're both willing to betray me. But second, me holding on to anything they ever did or having feelings about it would just leave me miserable. I'm not responsible for their betrayal. I'm not responsible for their lies. I'm not responsible. And when we realize that, when we just look, Martha, say this: I'm not responsible for what a bully does. Just say it out loud for yourself right now. I'm not responsible for the kids who beat me up and whatever they were going through at home. I'm not responsible. I didn't do anything wrong. People have something inside of them, they need to get it out. They're going to get it out on somebody who probably won't fight back or is only, 80 pounds and can't fight back. If you're like 3 grades ahead of me and have like 50 pounds on me, oh, congratulations. You beat up an 80-pound little girl that's still in kids' clothes. Oh, God, you must be so proud of yourself. Like you have to turn it into something like that. Oh, congratulations. You're a bully. Is that your biggest accomplishment in life? Oh, congratulations. Good for you. Wow. And jealousy, yeah. Jealousy is real. And if you have, let me tell you this, as women, I think we're all women here. If there's any guys here, hey, for you too, if you have someone in your life that is in any way jealous of you, they are plotting your downfall. With they may know it, they may not. Anybody who is jealous of you does not cannot care about you and love you as a friend, lover, whatever it is. And if you have this light inside of you, a lot of times partners will see your light and they want you for your light, but that is also what makes them eventually have animosity toward you, right? Hi, Skyper. And so when we are in a situation, whether it's a friend, coworker, whatever it is, and this happens a lot in work environments where people will see you and be jealous of you, you have to find a way. If it's a friend, just cut them off. Just let them go, because friends that are jealous, they will scheme on your whole life while being so good to your face, and they're trying to become you. They're trying to take what you have, whether it be your partner, your work, your abilities, in whatever way they can. They're trying to claim it for themselves. I used to have this person in my life that would say, "You think you're intuitive." I know you think you're intuitive. Oh, bitch, back up. Bitch, back up. And then they would follow it with, "But I'm intuitive too." Oh, and I'll bet you think you're a good person too, don't you? I'll bet you run around telling everybody I'm a good person. Who's living with a married? I don't want to put all that out there, but somebody who makes those comments, or this one. This is another one that happened to me. Why do you get that man and I don't? Oh, girls, tell me, what does that line mean to you? If somebody ever comes to you and says something like that, what does that mean to you? What are they doing? They want your man. That is a "I want your man" statement. Why do you get that man? Why do you get him? Why do you get that? The quote was, "Why do you get that gorgeous man and I don't?" Does that person belong in your life? Is that someone you keep around? Yeah, wow, not a friend, jealousy. Exactly, Rebecca. And if you keep that person around you and or your person you're dating, what's going to happen? They are slowly plotting how to get that. Cheating. That's right, Rebecca. Be very careful about who you have in your life and do not be afraid to let people go. Do not be afraid to let people out of your life. Not everybody deserves to be in your life, and you are not owed you do not owe anybody friendship, relationship, anything. You do not owe it to anybody to allow them into your life or to keep them in your life. I use this all the time. Think of yourself as a business. Okay, you are a business. You are in the business of you, and you are either going up in stock and value or down in stock and value. You go up in stock and value when you value yourself. Now, if you let people into your business who are stealing from you or shoplifting or taking from you without giving an exchange of any sort, you're going to be out of business. You're going to be depleted. You're going to be broke. You're going to be done. If you let people in that are cheating, you're going to be out of business because, again, it's depleting the business. If you are letting people in that are in any way taking from you, taking from your business, abusing, spread. If you owned a store, let me just say this, if you owned a store and people started coming into your store and saying bad things, you would remove them from your store. You wouldn't let somebody into your business who was talking badly about your business. But we let people stay in our lives that talk badly about us, that make us feel badly about ourselves. We would never do that with a business. We would never do that for if we had a child. Again, if we go back to the infant, we would never do that. But for some reason, we allow people to treat us any old way and stay. That stops today. Done, 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 right? Done. Yep. Done. Done. We need to be done with that. And the better people, when we let go of people, we might be alone for a moment. And there is nothing better than being by yourself for a minute. Now, the first minute, the first little bit of time, it can be difficult because you're going to think, oh, it's so lonely. I don't know. Why doesn't we go to this? Why doesn't anybody want me? But that's not the truth. We have to look at it like we are in a retreat, like a spa retreat, where we are reorganizing our beliefs about ourselves. We are reorganizing and healing the thoughts, the beliefs, the understanding of who we truly are. And when we know, not when we think, when we truly know who we are, what we are, how we are, and we can stand on that, then we can let people back in. And yeah, we will be tested. An old friend will come back around and will think I'm strong enough now, but no, they'll still be the same person. They have more to chip away at now. So we don't let those people come back in again. And new people might come in that test you, but the test is, and here's the test always. If somebody is bullying you, making you feel guilty, making you feel shame, anybody when you have not done anything wrong and they make you feel a certain way, the test is, do I value myself enough to remove them? Am I desperate to keep them in? Am I insecure and I keep them in? Am I in a space where I feel like if I let them go, I'm doing something wrong? Because then we need to go back in to our retreat and start building again and realize people earn a place in our business. We don't let any old person come around our infants and treat them. I've never had an infant, but I have had a puppy. And believe me, the number of people I would have a wicked tongue with if they said something about my puppy. I had hairless Chinese crusteds. And I was just walking them one day and somebody yelled out something about Wow, those are the ugliest puppies I've ever seen, and I just without missing a beat, I turn around and go, "And still cuter than you. Keep it pushing, sir." A full-grown man said that. But the way I stood on business and fired back at that full-grown man, not afraid for my life at all, and said, "But they're still cuter than you. They are still way cuter than you." Without missing a beat. The way I defended those puppies is the way we need to defend ourselves. If somebody said something about me, I would laugh and keep going. But somebody said something about my babies, you're about to see my twin come out. You're about to see my Gemini twin come out. And it's hard to put that girl away once she comes out. It is so hard to put that girl away because she's the fun one. She's the one. It's like one more shot won't hurt. That's probably why I don't drink anymore either. But I'm just saying. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna try to read a couple more comments, and then Catherine says guided meditations. Yes, medications. Guided medications can be great for letting go of guilt and or forgiving yourself and others. Yes. Um, yes, for some 100%, depending on how people can handle that. I love that. I love that for some, yes. I was called so many names, to never touched, luckily, by the bullied. Yeah, I think in our era of growing up, we were all called so many. It was just so normal, right? It was so normal for people, um, to do that. So yes, okay. And Martha says, I don't respond and I even ignore them. Doesn't matter what you do, you are right. It is their issue. Yes, Martha, it really is their issue. 100% their issue. People say hurt people hurt people. I want to change that statement forever to bad people do bad things. Bad people do bad things to mostly good people, because if a bad person does something to another bad person, that person's going to fire back at them. They find somebody who's good and won't fire back at them. Bad people do bad things. Stop saying hurt, because the moment we say a hurt person, instantly our hurt goes, oh, they're hurt. We are all hurt, sir. Every single one of us has been hurt. Every single one of us has been hurt. Has been hurt. Show me somebody who's never been hurt. Okay, they just came out your hoo-ha. That doesn't count. And they might have heard something in the womb that hurt them. You don't know. I don't know. The point is, every single person has been hurt. Not all of us are running around hurting each other. We didn't all turn into little he's, okay? Bad people do bad things, and they will do them to good people because good people won't fire back on them. Bad people don't do bad things to bad people unless they're looking to be fired back on. That's why some of these guys, these bad boys, are out here picking good girls because they know they can run them into the ground and under the ground in so many cases. They're not trying to pick bad girls. Bad boys are not out there trying to pick bad girls because they don't want people doing them dirt the way they do to good girls. They know if they pick a bad girl, they're going to get run to the ground. Bad boys aren't out there going, oh, I think I want to get me a low down girl, a thought. They don't want a thought. I had to have somebody explain to me what thought was. I'm not up on the lingo, but that's a pretty appropriate name for what we're doing right here. They don't want one. Why don't they want one? Because she will be doing all the dirt that they do, and they don't want to be done dirty. They don't want somebody doing, they know exact bad people know what they are doing to people. Oh, he just doesn't understand. Oh, he knows. But he also knows he can get away with it, or she can get away with it. They can get away with it, right? They know that. They know it. Okay. I have to. Hey, MD, thank you for joining. Rebecca says bad people do exist. Crazy thing is how they don't see how their actions affect the person. I'm older, wiser. You know what? They do. And this is how you know they do. They know exactly what they're doing and they know how it affects people. Because if you just in a conversation say, "Hey, if somebody did, take whatever they did to you," and you say, "If somebody did this to you, what would you do?" They'd say, "I'd be gone. I'd be gone," because they know it's wrong and they wouldn't put up with it. So don't give them the excuse. Don't give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't know how it's affecting you. They do. And you're not the first person they're doing it to. And other people have told them, the people they've done it to in the past have told them, "You're hurting me. You're this. You did this and it affected me like this." They know exactly what they're doing and they know how it affects you. You don't give them that. Even if and then they go, "I didn't know." You're a full grown adult. Are you telling me you're too stupid to understand that if you do this, it's going to end like this? You're not stupid. You're manipulative, sir. You're not. Bad people doing bad things have done them in the past and gotten away with them until the other person said no more, and then they move on to the next person. And I can tell you from exes and from people in my office and talking to my friends when we talk, and because I'm a woman, I'm going to use the man to woman, but it also goes woman to man because I know women who have done some dirty, dirty stuff to men, dirty, dirty stuff to men. Every partner they have had, they have a pattern. They do the exact same thing to every single partner. And then when they get with the next person, they say the partner did it to them. But then as you're going through it, you realize, oh no, you're the one who does this, sir. You're the one who does it. And they will do it to whomever they can. So bad people will be a bad person to good people because good people won't fight back. So stop saying hurt people. They don't know what they're doing. Hold people accountable. And I'll bet you if you went to that bad person and told them, they would not apologize, they would justify. And I could tell you a couple of stories. I'm not going to, but I could tell you a couple of stories. But when people hurt you and they don't realize they hurt you and you bring it to their attention, like if I hurt somebody and somebody brought it to my attention, I would be, oh my God, I didn't even realize that's the way it came across. I am so sorry. And I would go so far out of my way to change that behavior, not only with them, with everybody. And every single person here would do that because we are good people. The bad person says, "No, well, it didn't mean anything to you. And if it didn't mean anything, why did you do it? Hmm? If it didn't mean anything, why'd you do it?" Oh, people just do that. No, no, good people don't do that, sir. That's your justification. That's your excuse. That's your out. That's your typical behavior. And you don't want to change and you don't want to take responsibility. The reason people keep being bad people is because nobody's holding them accountable. Nobody's walking away. Nobody's saying, you're literally you're doing bad things. They're saying, oh, you're hurt. Hmm, poor little thing. If you're hurt, let's take you to a hospital and lock you in until you don't hurt anymore. I'll bet you they get better real fast. And I might not sound spiritual, but that is not what spiritual is supposed to be. Spiritual is not putting up with and allowing people to abuse us. That's not spiritual. That's just stupid. That's being stupid. That's being naive. That's being like, that's just being a road that everybody's running over without paying a toll even. Spiritual doesn't mean you put up with and allow. People use the term spiritual and religion to guilt people into putting up with things. Okay. Last comment, Martha. It is nice to be able to connect to a group of great people who are positive, good energy. Thanks to all. Am I positive? What's what I said today? Positive. You are welcome, Martha. You are so welcome. And this is one of the greatest groups there is. Everybody who's on my show for the most of the part, this family here, best in the world. Noelle says, thank you for the awesome book club today. Lots to ponder. Noelle, love you. Next week's question. What if you are to heal all of the guilt and pain in you, not in others? What if when you heal it in you, it is healed in all? That is a lot to unfold next week. We will be doing healings again. And I know I'm using guilt and pain in here, but it also goes for shame. It goes for everything to heal. So next week at noon, next Tuesday at noon, that will be the question. Please tell your friends, share the show, bring people whom you feel might enjoy this. You don't have to have the book, but if you do want the book, it is in please go to my author page and get it. Hi, Todd. That is a lot. It is. So I hope you're here to help us unpack it. And again, you guys, even though I refer to men doing it to women, I've said this a million times. I have seen women do a lot worse to men. It's just easier for me to use that term and myself as a thing. Next week, Tuesday at noon, we will do book club again. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central, I will be back for Q&A. Remember, if you do buy me a coffee, which is in the link, your questions will be answered first. I love each and every one of you. Now I have to go put on some pants so I can get to my office and work with my clients. I love you all. Until tomorrow night, have an amazing night. Thank you. And thank you guys so much for being here and doing this together. Thank you.